Hey, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, this is the place where we break down money, investing, and building wealth. No fluff, no jargon, just what actually works. Before we dive in, if you find this valuable, hit subscribe. Because next week, I'm breaking down the exact investment portfolio that made me financially independent. And you don't want to miss that. All right, let's talk about the 7 rules. Rule number 1, pay yourself first. Rule number 1, and this is the foundation everything else is built on: pay yourself first. Here's what most people do: paycheck comes in, rent, bills, groceries, subscriptions, eating out, a little shopping, and whatever's left at the end of the month, if anything, goes into savings. That's backwards. That's why most people never build wealth. They're saving what's left over, and there's almost never anything left over. Here's the fix. The moment your paycheck hits your account, a percentage, I recommend starting at 20%, but even 10% is a massive improvement, moves automatically into a savings or investment account before you pay a single bill, before you buy a single coffee. You then live off what's left, not the other way around. Set up an automatic transfer the day after payday. Make it invisible. Because if you have to make the decision to save every single month, willpower runs out. Automation doesn't. This one shift, paying yourself first instead of last, and is the single biggest predictor of whether someone builds wealth or stays stuck. Rule number 2, track every dollar for 30 days. Rule number 2, you cannot fix what you don't measure. Most people have no idea where their money actually goes. They think they spend maybe $200 a month on food delivery. It's actually $600. They think subscriptions are $30. It's $140 across 6 different apps they forgot they even signed up for. For the next 30 days, I want you to track every single dollar. Every coffee, every Uber ride, every subscription. You can do this with a simple spreadsheet, a notes app, or a budgeting app. The tool doesn't matter, the awareness does. At the end of 30 days, look at the categories. You will be shocked. Almost everyone finds at least $200 to $400 a month in spending they don't even remember doing. Subscriptions they forgot about, delivery fees, impulse pays. That's not a coincidence. That's the system working as designed. Companies spend billions of dollars making sure you don't notice small recurring charges. 30 days of tracking flips that switch back in your favor. Rule number 3, build your emergency fund before you invest. Rule number 3, and people get this order wrong constantly: build your emergency fund before you start investing. I know investing is exciting. Compound interest, stock picks, crypto, all of it. But if you don't have an emergency fund and your car breaks down, or you lose your job, or you have a medical bill, guess where that money comes from? Your credit card. At 20-something% interest, or worse, you're forced to sell your investments at the worst possible time just to survive. Here's the target: 3 to 6 months of essential expenses. Rent, utilities, groceries, insurance, minimum debt payments. Sitting in a high-yield savings account. Not invested, not in stocks. Liquid, boring, accessible cash. If that number feels overwhelming, start smaller. Your first goal is just $1,000. That single buffer alone prevents most financial emergencies from turning into financial disasters. Once that fund is fully built, then, and only then, you shift your focus to investing. Rule number 4, understand the difference between good debt and bad debt. Rule number 4, not all debt is created equal. There's a myth that all debt is bad, and that's just not true. Debt is a tool. Used correctly, it builds wealth. Used incorrectly, it destroys it. Bad debt is anything used to buy things that lose value or provide no return. Credit card debt on things you consumed, high interest personal loans for a vacation, car loans that stretch your budget thin. This kind of debt actively works against you every single month. Good debt is debt used to acquire something that either appreciates or generates income. A mortgage on a home in a stable market, a student loan for a degree that meaningfully increases your earning potential, a business loan that funds something profitable. The rule of thumb: if the interest rate is high and the thing you bought is losing value while you're still paying it off, that's an emergency. Attack it aggressively. If you have multiple debts, use either the avalanche method, paying off the highest interest rate first, or the snowball method, paying off the smallest balance first for psychological wins. Either works. The best method is the one you'll actually stick to. Rule number 5. Invest consistently, not perfectly. Rule number 5. Consistency beats timing. Every single time. People wait for the right moment to start investing. They want to time the market perfectly and then buy at the bottom, sell at the top. Here's the truth. Even professional fund managers with teams of analysts can't reliably do that. What actually works is called dollar cost averaging. Investing a fixed amount on a regular schedule, regardless of what the market is doing. Some months you'll buy at a high point, some months at a low point, and over years it averages out. And historically, staying invested consistently has outperformed most people trying to time it. The goal isn't to be a genius stock picker. For most people, low-cost, broadly diversified index funds are the simplest, most effective path to long-term wealth. It's not exciting. It's not a story you tell at a party. But boring, consistent investing is what actually builds wealth over decades. Start with what you can. Even $50 a month invested consistently, increased over time as your income grows, adds up to a meaningful nest egg over a working career. Rule number 6. Increase your income, not just your savings rate. Rule number 6. There's a limit to how much you can cut. There's no limit to how much you can earn. Budgeting and cutting expenses matters, but at a certain point, you run out of things to cut. You can only stop buying coffee so many times. What actually accelerates wealth building is increasing your income. That could mean negotiating your salary. Okay, most people never ask. And it's often the highest return on time move you can make in a single conversation. It could mean building a skill that makes you more valuable in your current field. It could mean a side income, freelancing, a small business, selling a skill you already have. The combination of a rising income and a fixed or slower growing lifestyle is where real wealth gets built. That gap between what you earn and what you spend, that gap is what you invest, and that gap is what compounds over time. Rule number 7. Protect what you build. Rule number 7, and this one gets ignored constantly. Protect what you build. People spend years building savings and investments, and then one uninsured event wipes out years of progress. Health insurance, if you don't have employer coverage, renters or homeowners insurance, if you have people who depend on your income, term life insurance. That's far cheaper than people assume. This isn't the exciting part of personal finance. Nobody makes content about insurance because it doesn't get views. But wealth that isn't protected is wealth that's one bad event away from disappearing. Recap. Let's do a fast recap of all 7. 1. Pay yourself first automatically. 2. Track every dollar for 30 days to find your leaks. 3. Build your emergency fund before you invest. 4. Know the difference between good debt and bad debt. 5. Invest consistently, not perfectly. 6. Grow your income, not just your savings rate. 7. Protect what you build with proper insurance. None of these are complicated. None of these require you to be a genius or have some special connection or inside knowledge. They require consistency, and they require starting today instead of waiting for the perfect moment that never actually comes. Outro/call to action. If this video gave you even one thing you're going to apply this week, let me know in the comments. I read every single one, and it genuinely tells me what to make next. If you want the next step, how to actually build an investment portfolio from scratch, step by step, I've got a video linked right here that walks through exactly that. Hit subscribe if you're serious about getting your money right, and I'll see you in the next one.